What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the podcast. Hope you're all doing well. I am your host, Justin Harold, and with me, as always, my co-host, Joe Santa. This is the Cleveland Pulse Podcast, episode 45, and today, Jeff and I are going to do our mock draft 2.0, except this time, we're going to be combined. We're going to be Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Barry. Pick between us who is who, but we're going to go through a draft simulator via the Draft Network. We're going to do 7 rounds. So last time we just did the pick at 26 and the first 10 picks. This time it's all Cleveland Browns picks. We're not going to be able to trade and pause the draft. So what we get with our picks is what we get options-wise. We'll talk a little bit more about who's there at what picks and who maybe we would have traded up for. Maybe we'll do that part at the end of the draft after we have our summary and everything. But as of right now, we're almost a week away from the draft happening. And things are starting to heat up. You're starting to hear a little bit more rumors. But Jeff, what are you looking forward to in this one?
I'm looking forward to just the whole simulation that we're bringing into this experience. We kind of just talked loosely with not a whole lot on screen on our 1.0, which actually was our last episode. Go check that one out as well if you have not seen it. But we have a lot of picks. The Cleveland Browns have a lot of picks, 7, I believe, through 7 rounds, and it's an interesting dynamic. You have teams with as little as 3 picks in this draft. I believe the Seattle Seahawks have 3 draft picks as their capital, and I think the Miami Dolphins have 8 or 9 picks actually. So it's interesting that we have a decent amount of picks. I think we have the most versatility, the most potential to do what we want, especially at our spot. It's not the greatest spot in the world. Me and Justin were talking about this earlier today. It's actually quite tricky, even with the signing of Jadeveon Clowney. There's still going to be a lot of work to do, and the war room on draft night is going to be insane, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And, so for me, I would have liked to have been able to potentially do trades because I don't think we're going to use all 9 picks. I think at some point in the draft, I'm not on the board yet of the first round it's going to happen, but I think we would probably move up towards the second round of the upper half. But besides that, honestly, I'm really looking forward to this process. Like we said, this is the Draft Network. So obviously things might not go. It's their predictive board. So it might not go like what everyone thinks it's going to go like. But again, in reality, the draft is like that. Like people slide. You get the Eagles taking a wide receiver and getting to see the Vikings laugh about it and take Justin Jefferson. So a lot of things go unplanned and different. So without further ado, Jeff, you got anything else before we start this draft?
No, hopefully this is, better than what we were looking at PFF, like we literally just talked about, because they had some wacky people going off the board very early based on their ratings. But we'll give the Draft Network a little shout.
Yeah, we'll give it a workout. And with that, we will let the draft commence. So it might go a little quick. So Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields. Pretty standard.
I think that top 4 is pretty wild, but that could be, that's plausible, honestly.
I think everything so far is pretty plausible. We're seeing Micah Parsons go at 15.
Kyle Pitts, Dallas. Yes.
There goes my pick. Jeremiah Owusu's gone.
That's early for him, I think. And Zaven Collins, I think, is early.
Oof. And here we are. So pick 26. So Jeff and I, this is the list of the guys we got over here. I can't really enlarge that anymore, but I'm thinking that between me and Jeff, there's only 3 guys that we're really going to debate about here.
Who did Horn go to on this one?
Horn?
13? 12. He's so early, dude. They're thinking him and Surtain are going to go back-to-back. That's crazy.
I think they don't get – I don't think whoever the second cornerback is gets past 16 since Patrick Peterson.
That Cardinals offense is nasty with that pick, if that's the case.
Right. But we're sitting here at 26. Like I said, 3 people between me and Jeff that I think we'll argue about. Obviously, with Sheldon Richardson leaving, Christian Barmore, a very obvious pick. That's the top pick right now. He's the highest rated player on the board. But Jeff also loves Azeez Ojulari, who I could also get very behind, mainly because, Clowney and Tack on 1-year deals. You get a guy in the back to kind of learn from Miles and Jadeveon Clowney. That'd be kind of a, huge benefit to him in the long run and us in the long run. And then for me, Jamin Davis, who is, what people consider to be the second best coverage linebacker behind Jeremiah Owusu. The only reason I can make the argument for drafting him here at 26 is that interior defensive linemen aren't very, worthwhile. There's not a lot of big name interior defensive linemen, and picking one 26 doesn't. I guess it's kind of like last year where the offensive tackle position isn't like an exciting position to draft, or offensive line in general. But even more so for interior defensive line. What are you thinking, Jeff?
I think that this is disappointing. If I'm Andrew Berry, if I'm running this simulation and I'm Andrew Berry, I actually cannot stand how this is going so far, because I honestly want a cornerback in the first round. Believe it or not, I really do love Christian Barmore. Azeez Ojulari, there's good arguments for all three of those guys you just said. I mean, if you don't get Zaven Collins, Jamin Davis is a name that gets thrown around a lot, that the Kentucky linebacker is going to be a stud. Azeez Ojulari is going to be what Jadeveon Clowney is going to kind of be for us this year, as far as being dynamic and playing, a little bit of, a couple positions, potentially that Joe Woods could fit that into the scheme where it's not, we could be moving people around. But if it's me here, I'm upset that there's no cornerbacks, because I really want a cornerback, but this all depends, right? Because there is still murmurings that Sheldon Richardson could come back, but I love Christian Barmore here. I know that you think it's a little optimistic at this pick, and I don't really want to be. When's our pick in the second round?
It's very late. It's essentially 56, I believe.
Oh, it's late. Okay.
It's very late.
So we're basically all or nothing here. Yeah, it's all or nothing here. How are you? What would you have to say? 100%. What would you say here?
So Christian Barmore, I think he's ranking us at 20. So if we go to the rankings,
because if you 100% say Azeez, I'm in for him. But I like Barmore just because of how well he played in the playoffs. But I'm in for Azeez as well.
I think the dip off from Barmore to the next best interior defensive lineman is drastic.
I think he's easily the best guy out there.
Yeah, Azeez, obviously not a lot of distance between a lot of these guys here. And then linebacker, for me, these rankings are not like you get Jamin and then 12.
You don't really want Baron Browning. You really don't.
The only person on this list that I'm looking at right now outside of Davis is Jabril Cox, who is ranked 59. So we'd be taking a chance with, drafting Barmore. Olari, I think, is the safe, I think these are the two safest picks. Easily the safest picks. Yeah. I think Jamin is the reach of the group, mainly because, even though he's not the top three linebacker in the top three linebacker conversation, he fills an immediate need. Like Barmore, we have guys in place that are already, starters, Billings, Elliott, and Malik Jackson. I just feel like we need that coverage linebacker, and that's my only argument. I think, but between me and you, I think the mutual interest is Azeez. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. I just think that this is just brutal. This sim is already brutal because, this is realistic, though. I actually really like the sim so far, but, you're missing Farley, you're missing Newsome, you're missing Koromoa, and, of course, we're missing Horn, and we're even missing Zaven Collins.
Let me ask you.
I don't want to be I don't want to get the poor man Zaven Collins and just pick Jamin Davis. I'm not saying that's the truth, but I want Zaven Collins more than him.
Let me ask you. Out of the picks here, 16 through 25, who are you pitching a trade offer to? Because there's two teams that I'm pitching a trade offer to. It's the Dolphins, who already had a first-round pick before this, who, I don't know, maybe they're in the same boat as us. They were a couple games out of the playoffs last year. I think a game or two out of the playoffs. Maybe they're in the same boat. They just want to invest the best, as early as possible with the best picks they can. But then I think at that point, my guy is there. Owosu's there. After that, you could get your cornerback, but I don't think anything after 20 is worthwhile for us to trade for. I think you can make a deal with Chicago because Chicago just doesn't know what they're doing.
I think you can make a deal with the Jets too if you really want Kwity Paye, but that kind of defeats what I was just ranting about getting a cornerback. But I personally think there's going to be one of those guys there, cornerback. I think Greg Newsome or Caleb Farley is going to be there for us.
Yeah. All right. With what's on the board, give me your number one.
I think we go with Aziz. Yeah,
I'm with you there.
I think Barmore fits our role better, but I think Aziz, you're going to need him next year. So
yeah, and that way you don't have to, potentially pay.
The Bucks got Barmore. That's disgusting.
Yeah, they're going to make the most of their picks.
Najee Harris to the Jets. Okay.
Baron Browning.
Was there a running back in the first round? Did this draft take a running back in the first round? I don't think they did.
If you saw Najee go in the second, that was the first pick, or the first running back pick.
Liam Eichenberg, 51.
Yeah, I remember that kid.
You played against him.
I did indeed. All right. So now we're at the second round pick, and I'm upset because I really looking back on it now.
Why? I see your boy.
I want to go back and pick Jamin Davis. And I'm really upset. I'm really regretting that now because you're right. One of my boys is there, but right in front of him is my other guy who I really want, Dimey Brown, but Jabril Cox is the last plausible linebacker that I would want to draft. I don't like anyone on this board.
Werner.
Monty Rice actually is a very, I think, under the radar guy, but the drop off from him to Cox, or from Cox to him, is just so significant. I don't know what you're thinking here. I think linebacker. I think at this point, I think he's the best player on the board, Cox, outside of Brown. You're not going to make an argument for Brown, or you could make an argument for Brown that he could see playing time, but I think that he's more of like a solution to a next year problem, whereas we're trying to capitalize on as much, Aziz is going to play. Aziz will find playing time, either in rotation or, if Clowney moves inside and he's on the opposite side.
Yep.
But I think at this point, I'm pretty set on Cox, as much as it pains me, because I think Brown is probably going to be a stud. I think he's a freaking gem in the wide receiver group.
I'm going to be honest. I have not done a lot of research about this Jabril Cox kid. I'm not going to lie to you and say that I know who he is, because the LSU defense is normally pretty good. They usually have a lot of guys. Half of our defense would be LSU alums.
True.
Half of our team would be from LSU, which I'm completely fine with because I think LSU creates great football products on both sides of the football. But are we really going to take – I don't mean to keep calling him off-brand, but are we really going to take a second-rate linebacker with our second pick? I know he's probably good. I'm not trying to say he's bad, but it's like
at this point –
we could have got like you said, I think we could have got that guy in the first round.
Position, or like what are you thinking here though? Are you thinking, because we can't go another edge, we can't go best player available here.
Right. This is tough because I think Donovan Peoples-Jones is a diamond in the rough for us.
Of course.
So it looks a little bit weird drafting another wide receiver in the second round, but me and you have talked about it, man. Jarvis and OBJ, they're not going to be here forever.
You're getting paid way too much money. And also, I think Odell, I think if anyone's gone next year, it's definitely Odell. And once you lose Odell, you lose that speed factor, which Dimey Brown had the most 20-plus yard receptions out of any college wide receiver. So, he's
I'm almost
a burner.
okay with Dimey Brown here. I almost am.
I'm just like, I know it's our defense. Aziz,
our defense is going to be fine, though.
It's going to be better, right?
We have Anthony Walker.
It's going to be, and you're expecting, you would expect that Jacob Phillips would take a step forward.
Yeah.
And hopefully, Talkie took a step forward and Mac took a step back, but hoping he can bounce back.
We saw what Mac Wilson can do when he's got competent people around him. He's not the premier guy, but we saw what he could do, his first year when he was playing with Kirksey and Schobert. I mean, everyone thought he was the future. So if we could get him as not going to have to carry with good BJ Goodson as his running mate, I mean, I honestly don't even – the Zaven Collins is different because I'm taking Zaven Collins, but I don't even think even if a linebacker's there in the first round, I don't even think we need a linebacker.
Yeah. So we're thinking Dimey Brown here.
I think we might as well. I think the fan base will be pissed about it, but I don't see how you can be.
I don't know. After the first round, I feel like a lot of people are just going to tune out. I feel like they're just going to be like, they're going to see the Bleacher Report updates and be like, oh, okay,
maybe.
Look into him
definitely
a little bit.
After this pick, though. There's still guys here left, though. But I mean, I don't know. I
think people see the writing on the board here. I think people will see the writing on the board here. If we take Brown, I'm thinking Brown though.
I'm in for Brown. I think it's a smart move. I think it's under the radar sneaky.
Yeah, I agree. If people are gonna get upset about that pick, let me just put it in this terms. I saw a comment in our last video from someone about was getting pissy about me saying that paying Jadeveon was like the whole money thing was a bad idea. My comment to that, and I didn't respond to it, but I should have, is just the fact that, listen, I don't want to be a one-hit wonder team. Look at the Eagles. The Eagles won a Super Bowl, and now they're in hell. They're in literal hell. They don't know what they're doing at quarterback, and they're in hell. We have to roll over cap and be able to sign core guys and cut loose the guys that are killing the cap for our team. And that's why Richardson was gone. $12 million for an interior defensive lineman. I'm sorry, that's too much.
And also to the people that we get content out ASAP and we didn't know that it was 10 million total. True. We thought it was when they report it. Adam Schefter, the best reporters in the world, are on Twitter. They don't even know specifics. It takes them 90 minutes to figure out specifics. And me and Justin are on here in 10 minutes thinking that it's a $10 million deal. It's only $8 million. Sorry. But still, Sheldon Richardson, great point. This pick is very easy for me, but you could start if you want.
It's really easy.
Very easy for me. Very easy.
I think we're looking at the same person. I could be wrong.
Have to be, because I just lied to myself and said I'm not really interested in anyone on the Ohio State defense. But if Tommy Togiai is there, we're taking him. That's a great pick.
Boom.
He's a stud.
It's done. We're already back up.
We drafted him. We didn't even know deliberation. How easy was that? If we saved the $12 million off Richardson and we could draft him, oh baby.
That was the easy pick. Now we're to we were saying that the second round pick was going to be the last pick that people would be interested with. I think this is.
I'm interested. The whole draft. It's all in Cleveland, baby. You got to be tuned in.
True. All right. So we've drafted our edge guy, our interior defensive lineman, wide receiver. At this pick, we're going to really need to start deliberating on no longer worrying about what these rankings are and go straight to position for me. What are you thinking here?
I have no idea. This is where I start getting into the territory where I know the skill player. I know the big names.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously know Trey Sermon.
True. Let me make it easy on you. I'm thinking that this is easily between cornerback and linebacker.
Yeah, we have not taken a cornerback.
We have not touched cornerbacks.
I do not want Sean Wade personally.
I agree with that.
I don't know
a name that I've seen a lot of people in the later rounds. Trill Williams. I've seen Trill Williams and
I have no idea who that is. Let me research.
Rodarius Williams from Oklahoma State. Both mocked
Trey Brown's name
quite a few times. Let me take a look at who's left at linebacker here for us.
Trill Williams combine numbers: 6', 208, 5.90 prospect grade. What is that out of? I'm not sure.
Don't worry about those grades. The grades, the grade number is just kind of whack.
Okay.
31.125
arm span.
So Trill Williams, I have his stuff up here too, Jeff. Just FYI. 6'2", 198. He's who I'm thinking here. I go to the linebacker position. I'm not gonna lie to you. I still only see one guy that I want on here. However, I have seen McRone mocked to us as well. He's a higher prospect here. It's more about who do we think is going to be available later.
I'm going to be honest with you. This Trill Williams' first strength on NFL.com is big and long as a nickel defender. I think we kind of need. I think our cornerbacks are kind of short.
True.
Denzel's kind of short.
Denzel, Greedy, Troy.
We're not very big in that position.
And we don't have
That's why I kind of like J.C. Horn, obviously.
Right. I think it's just a matter of like what position needs more depth at this point, corner or linebacker.
I don't know.
That's a great question. You know, our next pick is. Oh, it's not there. Can I see what our next pick is? I could have sworn that was a thing. Our next pick is not for a very. Oh, I'm going down. I'm dumb. I can't tell what our next pick is. I'm pretty sure we have a long time. 91, and you can't see for the next like 20 picks. So
91. DraftKings says we're 91 and 110. So we have two in the fourth round and one in the fifth round. Because we have a pick from the Eagles in the fourth round.
What are you thinking here, Jeff? Do you have a name here that you like? I mean, I don't know that you got a name in the linebacking.
No, not really in the linebackers.
So let's keep to the mutual interest of cornerbacks. You said that you like Trey Brown.
I like Trey Brown. I like Trill Williams too. I think Trill Williams. If you like him, I think that makes sense there. I'm gonna need a cornerback either way you cut it.
Yeah, I agree. I think Trill Williams is the pick here. We good with that?
Yep.
All right.
That's where it gets a little murky.
Yeah, now we start, just trying to either address issues and also kind of think of like, all right, what would be the next best idea? I think an idea that's going to be on my mind, depending on who's on the board, is a interior offensive lineman. Because I think we're going to need to replace. I think we're going to need to replace a right guard in the future. Just my opinion, but.
Could be. Kyle Trask is still on the board here. That's nuts.
Yeah, once you lose that first round of quarterbacks, those guys stay on the board for a long time. All right. This is tough. I'm going to linebacker really quickly. So Monty Rice is still there for me. I don't think he's going to get picked anytime soon. I'm going to interior offensive lineman. Kendrick Green is one dude that I've seen mocked to us often. But what are you thinking, Jeff? Pick 110. It says linebacker, interior offensive lineman, offensive tackle, Syracuse. We saw a lot of our linemen, kind of offensive linemen, go out very often last year, actually. I felt like, there were times when Jedrick was out and then Conklin was out and Wyatt Teller took a period of time out too. I think Batonio only missed the one game because of COVID and JC didn't miss a game. No, he didn't miss a game. I don't think he did because what's his name never played center, Nick Harris, which we drafted last year. I don't know, Jeff. Obviously now we're in that 110 fourth round area. This is where, I think a lot of different things could be done. I mean, there's a chance that one of our tight ends gets traded. I think Njoku has been on the rumor mill for being traded, but I don't see anyone on here that, flies off the board to me. I've seen the Nick Eubanks in the 7th round, but looking at these other fellers, I think I've seen Kenny get high praise. Again, probably not going tight end here. Not with the talent that's there.
I am actually interested in the person's name who I've heard about the most is Deontay Brown. He's from Alabama, which if I'm not mistaken, him and Jedrick Wills had to have been teammates. He's not he's going to be a big blocker. He's just a big guard. He's not that quick to the second level. I think he might have to get in shape a little bit, but I don't know. I think he's good. I think if you could draft somebody from Alabama, I don't see how you could, kind of like how we were talking about LSU defense, a couple picks ago.
Boy.
Yeah, he's
big
huge.
364-pound boy. But reading, I'll be honest here. As Jeff was earlier before, I have not looked into interior offensive linemen that much. But reading the pros of this man, it sounds like a Kevin Stefanski scheme fitter right here. Aggressive in the run game. Sounds like something that we can work on. Obviously, pass blocking is not great, but you don't need to have great pass blocking when the rest of your offensive line is studly. So I like the idea of going interior offensive lineman for the sake of potentially replacing someone or having just a backup. Yeah, longevity. Like I said, I think I can get behind that, Jeff. I can get behind a Deontay Brown.
I think everyone is caught up in the first round of this draft, which you should be. I mean, that's the fanfare, that's the hype. But the good GMs, just make sure their early round guys aren't busts. And then they do the majority of their work and the back end. That's what people really don't understand when it comes to drafts, is if you can't find people in the 4th, 5th, 6th round who's going to show out, then you're really not doing a great job as general manager if you're just throwing names up on the board.
Yep, and here we are again, pick 132. I'm going to go ahead and throw my hat out to Monty Rice from
I think we have to go with a linebacker here.
Yeah,
so
I think we've waited a little bit too long. I'm not a big Dylan Moses fan. I think a lot of people want to replace Mack Wilson with another Alabama linebacker because of how bad he was last year. I think Monty Rice is the better coverage guy. Dylan Moses is more of your run stopper kind of second level guy. I think Rice fits the mold of, where will he get the most playing time? And I think he's our guy here. Jeff, you cool with that?
Yeah, I'm going to have to – I'll take a screenshot of our final for when we're done. But another guy I got to do research on is Monty Rice. I think people – so I'm good with him for this pick because I think we need a linebacker. I think people need to stop hating on Mack Wilson. I'm not here to defend the guy because I think he had a horrific season last year. I didn't think he did a whole lot right at all besides suplexing a guy in the middle of the field. But – he's not. Let's get him in between guys who he does not have to be the premier player, and let's see what he could do as a support role. That's a guy just needs the nose role, I think.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. Looking for guys, I mean, that whole linebacking core has guys that we just need to take a step forward. Young guys at that position group just need to have the right leader, and obviously I think we have that now. So – 5th round, we're in Jeff's ballpark of what he was talking about earlier with, doing the right kind of work in the back half of the draft. This is going to get really tough here. So, obviously, a whole lot of names, people that we probably just, between me and Jeff, don't know. I mean, I've seen Rashad Reaver. He was actually a day 2 guy. I'm pretty sure I saw him very much in the 2nd round to us very early on. But that's another edge guy. Don't know that we're really going to argue for an edge guy unless it's best player available when we could be looking at, potential positions of interest. So, Jeff, let me ask you, what's an offensive position right now on our team outside of wide receiver that could potentially be seeing a guy get moved on from next year?
Well, I'm very glad you asked this because I'm actually got a lot of thoughts going on here in my head, and they're going to be hot takes because people don't understand how the business works sometimes. So I'm not here to roast the fans, but at the end of the day, I think it might be a little early because we do still have this. We have 211 and we have 257 from the Bills, but I would be very curious if you could look at the quarterback position right now.
Sure thing. I'll give you that.
Because I think Case Keenum, we love Case Keenum, but he's making a lot of money. Is he not making a lot of money?
He's making a little bit too much money.
He's going to be gone after this year, I think.
I can agree with that. Absolutely.
I think we're going to need a backup. I think Sam Ehlinger
could be gone before the start of this year, if I'm being honest.
Could be. I think we're going to need it. And can anybody name our 3rd string quarterback? I certainly can't.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I could name any of these quarterbacks right now.
Come on, Sam Ehlinger from Texas. You don't know him?
I know Peyton Ramsey. What did not impress me? Ian Book.
Ian Book kind of reminds me of Baker Mayfield. Now that you say that.
But you're
not
saying
as
Sam.
talented. Sam Ehlinger, I don't really know how Sam Ehlinger plays. I just know that he played for Texas, and he's played okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ian Book kind of reminds me of an off-brand Baker Mayfield.
That's fair. That's fair. See, I was thinking more of the position right underneath quarterback.
I'm in for looking there too.
I was in for looking at a running back. I'm gonna be honest though, not a lot of guys here that there are the occasional guys that later in these rounds I'll know, but as far as I'm looking at the board, everyone that I knew of is gone. So I'm not sticking here with running backs. We'll probably get an undrafted free agent at running back,
which is fine.
So I'm left to I'm going to go to the tight end position again. I just want to see who's there. Just want to see who's there.
This draft, as I'm assuming a lot of them are, because when did we draft? What position did we draft Harrison Bryant at?
I want to say he was a 4th to 5th round pick. I believe he was a 4th round pick.
Because that's a great job, because this draft is very heavily top end on tight ends. You have Kyle Pitts, which is going to be your Travis Kelce, and then you have your Pat Frymouths of Penn State, who are kind of more like your Gronk, I guess, is a good comp. But after that, I don't know anybody, really.
Right. Man, I am at a loss for words here. Honestly, I'm thinking we hit the linebacking group one more time. And you know what? I take that back. We already took a guy from Ohio State. I was just going to do it for the sake of being a homer. Man, I really just don't know. Honestly,
this is tough.
This is hard. Man, I don't know. There's no offensive tackles available that are high on this list. I'm really not liking a lot of the names that are left here. Although Bobby Brown was a guy that I saw. We've already taken our interior defensive lineman, but Bobby Brown was a guy that I did see a lot of talk about. I'm not seeing.
See, like this is I even think this is a spot that we can probably trade out of if Andrew Berry could.
I think this is something that would have been packaged already for a higher pick. And same
what about
with
what do you seen Damar Hamlin? Damar Hamlin? I just saw him as a safety. He was in there.
Safety. Hold on. Go back.
I mean, he's from Pittsburgh. I've seen him play a little bit.
Damar Hamlin.
I don't know how
he was. His buddy Paris Ford, right?
Yeah.
Was his running mate? I've seen the similarities between or not the similarities, but the talk between scouts between those two. Just like the guys from Syracuse, the safeties there. They
don't really need
nicely.
A safety though.
Depth. Oh, there's Paris Ford. Wait, speaking of the devil, what the heck? Paris Ford was a dude that I thought would be gone in the 3rd round. Why is he still here?
That University of Pittsburgh defense is notoriously very good for the the ACC. So
interesting. So you're saying Hamlin?
I'm okay with either of those guys.
Honestly, I want to know why Ford is so far down here. Did he potentially get hurt or something? I don't see that makes he is a physical as well. Ford is ultra physical. If Ford can develop, he has making.
I'm okay with either of those guys.
I'm gonna ask you to take a leap of faith with me and take Paris Ford because I remember him being a guy that was mocked in the 2nd round very often.
Yeah, I can't believe
it's interesting how a lot of these boards too are skewed after the 1st round. Like you have, like you were talking about earlier,
right.
It's very evident who's the 1st round guys and everything, and maybe like the 2nd round guys as well, like the first 15, and maybe you get a guy to slip or two, but man, like no one in here outside of the GMs and all this have a better understanding of what's going to happen, because at this point no one's going to be like, oh yeah, Brenton Nelson, this man is a stud.
That's just a complete difference with football too. That's why the NFL is, in my opinion, the best major sports league around because you hear about it once in a while, but you don't get 6th, 7th round picks in the NBA, or they might not even have that many rounds.
They got 2 rounds.
They have 2 rounds, but even in baseball, you could find people late, but if you're a good GM in the NFL, you're flipping
capitalizing.
value.
Yeah, you're capitalizing. Again, here, don't know what's gonna happen. Honestly,
Shaka Tony.
Penn State boy. I don't know here. Honestly, we've let's look at our picks really quickly. Safe or edge, wide receiver, interior defensive lineman, cornerback, interior offensive lineman, linebacker, safety. We've gone pretty defensive heavy,
which is correct. Is Ian Book there?
Is Ian Book here? Yes, yeah, absolutely. Don't know why he's ranked so low. I'm pretty sure he's
not
ranked
very good.
I'm pretty sure he's ranked within the top 10 in a lot of other different groups of, Brady David. There was one guy that I wanted to take as a backup quarterback in this draft, and he was
Felipe
from Texas.
Franks.
Is that the dude from Texas A&M, or are you just saying this man's
Felipe
name?
Franks, because he played Arkansas. He was.
Yeah, he's in Arkansas,
good.
Man. I don't know. Okay. I'd probably rather take Peyton Ramsey, to be honest, but that's just me being the Big Ten.
Northwestern was good this year.
They were very good this year. At this point,
6'2", 205.
We're hitting absolute pay dirt.
I don't know any of these running backs.
Not a clue. Tight ends. Let's take Eubanks.
I'm in.
Let's see if we can get another diamond in the rough from Michigan, like we did with
especially
DPJ.
If we're going to move Njoku, I would still rather have 3 tight ends any day of the week.
Right.
We have Steven Carlson though.
Do we have a 7th round pick? Yeah, but Carlson's like a special teamer, the time guy.
Eubanks might have been a reach, but we're very deep.
Yeah, we're too deep in here that if people really want to be like, hey, why didn't you take this person in the 6th round?
Leave it in the comments.
You've done far more research than I have, and congratulations to you, sir, because as far as I'm concerned, we're not going to have all these picks. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We are not going to have 8 picks at the end of this, so user picks. All right, so this is our board. This is who we picked. I'm going to try to put us there. 26 to 211. What do you think? How do you think we did, Jeff?
I think it all comes back, and I thought this was awesome. We honestly could probably do this again before the draft. Probably hit it with 3.0, maybe even switch it up, find something different if we have more time to, put this together.
Give it a run through PFF, maybe, if we figure out the right settings.
We could give PFF a little review, but Azeez Ojulari, at the end of the day, nobody is upset about that.
Right.
But this sim was disappointing because I personally want a cornerback in the 1st round. But
we waited a very long time to take a cornerback.
I think that's right. If you don't take one right away, you might as well not take one.
If I'm being honest, the best pick that I feel that I'm most happy with is Brown, 2nd round.
Really?
Because I like. Listen,
that's what you're
not wrong. You're not wrong.
Though.
You're not wrong about Ojulari in the sense that I'm not upset that we drafted him. I'm just upset that all the players that got drafted before him in the way that they did. Because you're right, to not have one of the top 4 cornerbacks be there,
or even Zaven Collins.
Right. I mean, it's just unfortunate, and maybe we should go back and look at where some of those guys landed. I mean, where do we see our first linebacker? So first cornerback gets taken off at 11, then back-to-back picks.
Jalen Phillips is very high in this mock. I've seen mocks where we don't even take him, and he's lower than the Browns pick, and the Vikings are going to take him. He's 1 injury away from not playing again. He's New England right there. That's smart, though. That's something New England would do, is take Parsons.
That's a great pick. I think this is a little high for Collins, to be honest.
Too. They did that last year with what's-his-face, though. They took Arnett early last year, too. So
I've seen this pick so many. I think this is just going to get willed into existence because I have seen this pick so many times in so many mock drafts because he doesn't fall past this. If he falls past this, he's there at our pick. Like, I have not seen
100%.
another take a linebacker after this point. It's like the Cardinals pick with you and J.C. Horn. I have not seen J.C. Horn past 16.
But does Washington really need? Is Washington in need of a cornerback? Didn't they have a stud cornerback last year who was a rookie? With Chase Young, him and Chase Young, their defense is good. They're going to take a cornerback at 19.
True. They probably need to figure something out. I think Washington, though, in all fairness, depending on who's there at 11, if somehow Trey Lance is there at 11, I could see them moving up. They need a quarterback.
Tennessee, I think, like Newsome there, that's fine. I mean, Tennessee needs defense too. New York, the Jets are good. I think that's exactly what Pittsburgh is going to do. I hope that's not what they do, but I think that's exactly who they're going to draft, actually. Right. I don't think they're going to take Eichenberg.
Yeah, seeing Davis go 3 picks later kind of upsets me, though.
Especially to Green Bay.
Yeah, but I think I'm most happy with
Tommy Togai.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that either.
I think that's the best pick out of all of them. Because I think Azeez.
I think at where it is.
Sense.
I think where it is. I think this is the best value pick. I think this is the potential. These two are definitely, obviously, being the first and second picks of our draft, have the most potential in the future. And then everyone else is going to be lucky if these picks are here. I'm expecting these picks to be packaged together with this one at some point to move up in the second round. Obviously, we couldn't do that. But I don't think I would have at the point, because I would have wanted to only get Davis at that point. But we'll try this again with, with PFF. I was telling Jeff, I ran through it a couple times. They have like scalars and everything for their draft, and it's super goofy. You can't get like a perfect. If you guys are out there doing your own sims and everything, let us know in the comments. And if you're doing it on PFF or you have another website that you like, that you think is realistic, put the link down below. We'll do a 3.0 like as soon as we see the comment or something.
We'll invite you on.
Yeah, we will do it instantly. But yeah, me and Jeff are gonna probably do a 3.0 before the draft happens again. Almost a week away from it at this point. Gonna be tons of fun here in Cleveland. But Jeff, you got anything else before we sign this one off?
Nope, definitely look out for a 3.0. Like Justin said, drop us links, drop us, comments, thumbs up, drop the subs, keep all the support coming. We really appreciate just everything we've seen. The channel's moving in the right direction, and we're making a bigger impact on Cleveland media than, the day before. So that's our goal for everybody involved.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.